Today, we're zeroing in on something really practical for folks managing network infrastructure.
hmm
It's a DrayTek Network Management and Maintenance Workshop happening in Sydney, Wednesday, June 4th, 2025.
Right. And it's important to stress this isn't, some huge sprawling tech conference.
No, exactly. It's very focused,
Mhm.
hands-on, built specifically around DrayTek equipment.
Exactly. We've looked at the info, and what really jumps out is the direct, usable knowledge people can get.
And it's put on by Island Technology.
That's right. They've been the exclusive distributor for DrayTek in Australia and New Zealand since, wow, 2002.
That's a long time, a significant track record.
It really is. It suggests, a deep understanding of the whole DrayTek world.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they've kind of evolved, too. Island Technology actually took over DrayTek Austin and Zid back in 2007.
Oh, right.
That long-term DrayTek relationship is key here, isn't it?
Absolutely. They're not just a reseller. They're, well, deeply embedded. Product lifecycle, support, the whole thing.
So for our listeners, the mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. We want to pull out the key info on this workshop, help you figure out if it's a good use of your time, your resources.
Right. Without getting bogged down in, overly technical stuff. Just the essentials.
Okay, so let's unpack it. First big question. Why actually go? Why spend a day on this?
Good question. The material points to some really concrete benefits.
Like,
Well, number one, getting your hands on the latest DrayTek models. Really understanding the configuration options.
beyond just reading the manual, you mean?
Exactly. You can read specs forever, but actually clicking through the interface, seeing how settings work, that's different.
That hands-on piece does sound crucial.
It is. And it's not just the hardware. It's about the newest configuration tricks, maybe features you didn't even know were there.
And this part sounds really valuable, direct access to DrayTek sales and technical experts.
Yeah, that's a big one. Imagine discussing your specific network challenges right there with the people who really know the gear inside out.
Getting immediate feedback, advice, that kind of interaction is often hard to come by.
It really is. It's a chance to, get past the generic stuff and talk about your unique setup, your specific problems.
Asking those really niche questions, maybe.
Precisely. The ones you can't easily find answers for online or in the docs.
And it's not just listening to lectures, right? There's a big hands-on training part.
Definitely. The info mentions testing real-world scenarios.
That sounds perfect for bridging that gap between theory and, well, actually doing it.
Exactly. In a safe learning space, too. You're not just hearing how it should work, you're making it work.
Building that muscle memory for managing networks.
You got it. That active learning really makes it stick.
So what's the day actually like? What can people expect? The format sounds pretty thorough.
It does. It seems like a good mix. You get the theory, the instruction.
To grasp the concepts.
Right. And then immediately you get practical hands-on sessions to apply it.
That immediate reinforcement, yeah, that helps things sink in, builds confidence too.
For sure. And logistically, it seems quite easy for attendees.
How so?
Well, all the training materials and the actual DrayTek equipment are provided.
Okay. So you don't need to lug your own routers or switches.
Nope. One less thing to worry about. Everyone's on the same page, using the same gear for the labs.
That's convenient. And they mention refreshments and lunch too.
Yep, light refreshments and lunch included. Looks like a full day, but they've thought about keeping people comfortable.
Good. Lets you focus on the training, not figuring out where to grab food.
Right. Those little details make a difference in the overall experience.
Okay, now this is important. A key detail for anyone considering it.
Mm-hmm.
You must bring your own notebook or laptop.
Ah, yes. Very important. Essential for the hands-on parts.
So while they provide the DrayTek gear for the exercises,
You need your own machine to connect, configure, run the tests, that sort of thing. Probably where you'll interact with the device's web interfaces.
definitely make a note of that one. Okay, let's dive into the actual content. What are you learning?
Right. The morning session is split into two parts. Both focus on network management of DrayTek devices.
Part 1 seems like the fundamentals, essential maintenance.
Exactly. Network management part 1 is about those routine but really critical tasks, keeping things running smoothly.
Like exploring the system maintenance menus in the routers.
Yep. Knowing those options inside out is pretty foundational for reliability, preventing problems later on.
And firmware upgrades, always important.
Oh, yeah. They cover the different ways to do it with practical exercises.
So you actually practice the procedures.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Learn the right way, maybe troubleshoot little glitches in a safe environment. That's super valuable.
Firmware updates are vital, aren't they? Security, performance.
Absolutely. Getting hands-on with the different methods means you'll be more confident doing it live. Understand the pros and cons of each way.
Now here's something that caught my eye. They specifically cover the differences between DrayOS F4 and DrayOS 5 maintenance.
Yeah, that's smart. Very practical.
Because lots of people are probably managing a mix of older and newer devices, right?
For sure. Not everyone upgrades everything instantly. So knowing those specific nuances, how tasks differ between the OS versions, that can save a lot of headaches.
Prevents configuration mistakes too, I'd imagine.
Definitely. Maybe backing up configs or applying certain settings. The workflow might be slightly different. They're acknowledging that reality.
Makes the training relevant for more people. Okay, then part 2 of the morning, diagnostic functions.
Right. This builds on part 1. It moves from routine upkeep to finding and fixing problems.
More proactive stuff, identifying issues.
Exactly. Part 1 is keeping it running. Part 2 is fixing it when it breaks. It focuses on the software tools and diagnostic functions built into the routers.
Which can sometimes feel like finding a needle in a haystack network troubleshooting.
Yeah, it can. So really understanding how to use these specific tools effectively could be a big time saver. Reduce downtime.
Crucial for network admins. Better troubleshooting means less network disruption, right?
Absolutely. That directly impacts the business. This part seems aimed at making attendees more self-sufficient in solving common network problems.
Okay, shifting to the afternoon. The focus moves to Vigor ACS 3 features and benefits.
Right. Vigor ACS 3, for anyone unfamiliar, is DrayTek's central network management platform.
Like a dashboard for managing lots of DrayTek devices.
Pretty much. A single system to manage multiple devices, routers, switches, APs from one place. This module digs into what it does and how it helps.
Imagine managing dozens, maybe hundreds of routers across different sites.
Yeah, without something central, you're logging into each one individually. Updates, config changes, monitoring. It's a lot. Vigor ACS 3 is that single pane of glass.
And the emphasis seems to be on the benefits. Streamlined management is mentioned.
Which is huge if you've got a lot of devices. That central control, monitoring, config deployment, it saves massive amounts of time and reduces errors.
So a key question this module probably addresses is, how much time could this save me?
Exactly. It likely gives concrete examples, like rolling out firmware updates to 50 routers at once or spotting security issues across the whole network quickly.
They also cover the system requirements for Vigor ACS 3. That's essential.
Absolutely critical. You need to know if your current setup can actually run it before you even think about deploying it.
Can't assess if it's viable otherwise.
Right. So attendees leave knowing exactly what's needed.
And it sounds like they go deep into the platform itself. Detailed explanations of features, followed by hands-on sessions for setup and actual use.
There's that pattern again. Explain it, then do it. That practical experience is key to really getting how it simplifies things day to day.
You're not just hearing about it abstractly, you're using it, configuring it.
Seeing firsthand how it makes managing the network easier.
Okay, and running through all this, there's a core objective mentioned.
Yes.
Equipping people with the principles and config procedures to improve network security using DrayTek routers.
Very important.
Yeah.
Security isn't an add-on anymore, is it? It's fundamental.
Absolutely. In today's world, it's paramount.
So focusing specifically on how to configure DrayTek gear for better security posture, that hits a critical need for any network pro.
So who is this really aimed at? The intended participants?
They're quite specific, which helps. Primarily DrayTek resellers.
Okay.
System integrators, the ones deploying DrayTek for clients.
Right.
And network administrators who manage DrayTek gear within their own company.
So if you're in one of those roles working with DrayTek, this is likely tailored for you.
Very likely, yes.
Yeah.
Seems like a good fit.
Now let's talk cost. The registration fee is $300.
Okay.
But there's a very interesting incentive attached.
Oh, what's
And you successfully finished the workshop, you get a $300 credit note.
Oh.
And that credit can be used on your next purchase order of DrayTek devices from iLAN Technology.
So, wait. If you're going to buy DrayTek gear anyway.
The training effectively becomes cost neutral. You invest in the skills, but you get that money back as savings on hardware you probably needed.
Wow. Okay. That's a really compelling value proposition. A smart way to encourage people to get trained up.
Makes it almost a no-brainer for regular DrayTek buyers, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a win-win. You get the valuable hands-on knowledge, the security skills, and the cost is offset against products you're already purchasing.
Another benefit they mention is the certificate of participation.
Standard for workshops, usually.
But this one apparently includes a detailed list of the specific course topics covered.
Oh, that adds real value. It's not just attended a workshop.
Right. It's documented proof of the specific areas you gained expertise in. Useful for, showing employers or clients.
Definitely. And they point out how that certificate can help promote your services.
As a credential, basically. Attesting to your proficiency with DrayTek.
Which, in a competitive field, that kind of documented skill can be a real differentiator.
So it's not just personal skill development. It can boost your business or career prospects, too. Shows you've got validated expertise.
Good point. It adds credibility.
It's also good to know who's running the show, the trainers.
Yeah. Who from ILAN is involved?
They list several key people. Roy Panetta, the technical manager, Herv Liu, network engineer, Sean Conlon and Samuel Chung, both network support officers.
Okay, a solid tech team there.
Also Arpit Jawa from IT sales and Darren Stribning, the Queensland sales rep.
So, a mix of technical and sales expertise available. Gives you a sense of the support level during the workshop. Seems well-staffed with knowledgeable people.
People you can actually talk to and ask questions.
Right. Practical experience on hand.
Okay, finally, if people are interested after hearing all this, how do they follow up?
All the contact info is provided. ILAN Technologies' address is the Hub Unit 10 and 24, 128 Station Rod, Seven Hills, NSW.
Phone number?
02-9838-8899.
Website?
www.i-lan.com.au. That's i-lan.com.au.
And an email?
Yep, general sales email. sales@i-lan.com.au.
Plenty of ways to reach out then. Phone, email, website.
Makes it easy to get more details or just go ahead and register.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from this deep dive.
Well, this DrayTek workshop in Sydney, June 4th, 2025, it looks like a really focused, practical, hands-on training day.
Covering network management, maintenance, security for DrayTek gear.
Yep, including latest models, digging into Vigor ACS3.
And that chance to connect with the experts. Plus, the $300 registration fee essentially becomes a credit.
Right. It seems laser-focused on DrayTek resellers, system integrators, and network admins who want to seriously upgrade their practical skills.
Stay current, get certified proof of expertise.
Exactly.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners to chew on.
Okay.
Thinking about your own network tasks, your professional development goals, could spending one dedicated day on this kind of hands-on training really boost your skills and understanding of managing DrayTek stuff? It's a good question to ask yourself. If it resonates, well, you've got the contact info.
The ILAN website, email, phone number are all there if you want to learn more or sign up.
Reach out and get started.
We really hope this deep dive has given you the essential info to decide if this workshop is a valuable step for you and your expertise in DrayTek technologies. Thanks for joining us.